Sony unfortunately censors almost every adult or anime game that is released on their platforms that comes from Japanese game developers. I've talked about game censorship so many times it makes my head spin because so many of the details are similar, yet I think it's so important that I talk about every instance I find, and there is another game going to the PlayStation 4 and 5 that had content changed and removed. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So this is a Sankaku Complex article. It says Sakura Succubus 5 censors CGs and dialogue on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Unfortunately, we hear about a lot of video game censorship, and a lot of the time it's coming from Sony on the PlayStation 4 and 5, and it's coming from Valve on Steam. And in this case, it's Sony. So Sakura Succubus 5, the fifth entry into the Winged Clouds series, will have some of its erotic allure censored on the PlayStation 4 and 5, as some of the CGs have been edited and the dialogue toned down, an announcement that will sadly be unsurprising to those familiar with Sony's dedication to the children. That's the excuse that they use when they're toning down content made for adults. They say, we want to protect children, we want to protect the youth. This is why we're toning down content, which is absolutely absurd because these games have adult ratings, are meant for adults, they're not made for younger audiences, yet companies, of course, use the excuse that it's for the kids, and that's why they're erasing adult content. Winged Cloud disclosed Sakura Succubus 5 would be censored on this website, and I wanted to quickly show this post to you because they try to play it off almost like it's not a big deal because they talk about the game, they talk about a bunch of the features, and then right at the bottom, the very last line of text, they say how it's going to be censored. So it says, after meeting and wooing a series of succubi, Hiroki is now prepared to settle down with his harem and enjoy a quiet life. Fate, however, has other plans after Hifumi becomes embroiled with Princess Stefania Sophia Maria Isabella, a noblewoman who hails from the small European country Astoria. It really doesn't sound that bad, to be honest. It's coming to a bunch of things. Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I do not purchase visual novels or anime games on PlayStation anymore because 90% of the time they're censored. I know straight off the bat that something is going to be changed, and unfortunately a lot of developers don't like to talk about the censorship. They try to just say, oh, one small thing was changed or altered, because of course they know the word censorship is instantly going to turn a lot of people off from the game. But as you see, it has a features list. It says it's the fifth installment in the series. It's a visual novel. It has beautiful manga art, gorgeous women to romance, and then it says right at the bottom, a few CGs have been edited and some dialogue have been toned down on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 version. And it doesn't specify if this is only the North American release or the European release or all of the releases. It wouldn't surprise me if it was also, unfortunately, censored in Japan, but we do know that it is going to feature censorship, and they didn't specify what was going to be censored. One would assume it's going to be some outfits because there are some very busty women in this game. We know, as it says, dialogue, but they didn't give and show any specific examples because they know that people are going to be upset. They know that people are instantly going to say, I'm not going to support this game, and I don't blame them. I am not going to support this game now, at least the PlayStation 4 and 5 version. Maybe if there's enough interest after I see the game, I would potentially purchase it on the Nintendo Switch, but it's always hard to judge what to support and what not to support because ultimately I understand the developers need to make money to make more games and franchises, and a lot of games do sell pretty well on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and they want to release their games on the platform. They kind of view it as, I'm okay with changing a couple of cutscenes and a little bit of dialogue if it means I could make way more sales. At the end of the day, it is still censorship though, and I personally don't want to support censorship. It says, while the console ports won't have the sex the PC version possesses, by the way of course, patches and mods, the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games will be even less erotic due to the censorship. Sony is no stranger to censorship for the sake of the children and the Me Too movement, so this forced censorship will hardly be that shocking. Now, eventually, we will have examples, we will be able to compare them side by side and see what was censored and toned down, and right now we do not know what was changed, but here are just some examples of the things that Sony has censored in other games. Sony shames sex appeal, yet again, as Death End Request 2 outfits censored. Here is another example. Sony censors Data Live game in Dragon Star Varnier. There are so many examples that I could go on and on about. Here is the magical light, as we like to call it. The light, the rays of light that unfortunately cover up characters in bra, underwear, bathing suits, just anything showing a little bit too much skin for Sony. So the article about Death End Request 2 says the intermittently sensual Death End Request has been devastated by Sony's ruthlessly depraved censors, as the franchise's second release has costumes from the first game that are now altered in appearance to look more covered up. The second article, about a live game in Dragon Star Varnier, says Sony's mysterious new policy responsible for censoring the sexiness of Japanese games and visual novels has caused two more titles to become censored, Dragon Star Varnier and Data Live Rio Reincarnation. Like I've talked about many times here, these are not new situations. Sony has been doing this for years. Companies, in general, have been toning down content for years. They are trying to be more PC. They are afraid that people are going to boycott their game because they dare put a sexy lady in a video game. And hopefully, soon enough, we will know exactly what was censored in Sakura Succubus 5. But right now, I do not intend to purchase it. Again, I completely understand that developers need to make as much money as possible, and they're not that worried about censoring a couple of things for it to get a PlayStation 4 or 5 release. But for me, it makes me not want to support the game at all, even if it's on another platform, because I know these developers bent the knee to Sony demanding they censor their content. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.